Hey everybody, it's Ryan Alexander with Denison Yachting, holding my phone in selfie mode like a true millennial would do. I'm going to be taking you on a slightly different walkthrough than what we normally do. I'm making my way up to the Sundeck of a 133-foot super yacht that we will be showing you all of the details of today. We're going to switch back and forth in between this, me giving you some more personal direct insights via my phone and the slick footage that you guys are used to seeing. Today's boat goes by the name of Serenity, and I'm standing now on her Sundeck. So just a few key things about this boat before we get going. She's 133 foot long. She's built by IAG. This boat was practically designed and built for charter, and I cannot wait to show you all the awesome features that she has to offer. This boat is listed centrally with Kurt Bosshart. I have done a ton of videos for Kurt now at this point, and there is nothing that I can say about him that I haven't already said, other than he is someone who is absolutely worth your time working with, and he takes every single element of his job incredibly seriously. When we left the dock this morning and I finally got a bird's eye view of this yacht, I couldn't stop looking at it. I thought about how cool the thumbnail was gonna look, the type of thumbnail that 1 million people click on. I noticed how well the city I lived in looked in the background, and how the morning light flatters otherwise unnoticed intricacy. With a name like Serenity, you better really bring it. And nothing stacks up to her intangibles in this sunrise. Spaces like this corner of the Skylounge are truly one of a kind. And that's just one space. Then there's the elevator, servicing all 4 levels of this super yacht, even her loaded Sundeck. She has a platform that was built for charter, from the way that she welcomes guests to what she offers them. All that to say, when people are online looking at charter options, this is a thumbnail they're probably gonna click first. And today, we're going to show you all 6 of her staterooms and virtually every other inch of motor yacht Serenity. Our first stop on the Sundeck is this space, all of the way aft. Back here is an open seating area with 3 padded loungers that sprawl out under a pair of heavy-duty canvas umbrellas. And then over on the port side is a nautical structures davit. Forward is an awesome jacuzzi with a waterfall on the aft side. Seeing as this is the quintessential picture of luxury yachting, it helps that there's also plenty of seating between 8 bar stools. Immediately forward of the jacuzzi is the centerpiece of the Sundeck's bar. Here in this wet bar is a sink, refrigeration, and an ice maker. Looking to the port side, we see a Viking grill that's just above a ton of dry storage. At the forward end of all of this storage are a pair of margarita makers that have been installed on a lift, allowing them to drop down under the counter when not in use. Opposite the grill is a wet head. This means that not only does it have a vanity, but also serves as a shower. Our next stop is this huge dinette. Soft green U-shaped seating wraps around 3 sides of an expandable dining table. This is the perfect place for the whole family to gather together and end the day on a high note. Forward of this is the upper helm. This is one of 4 helm positions on board and is decked out with almost all of the same features as the main lower helm. A pair of comfortable helm seats face an array of electronics that can be closed up when not in use. Over on the starboard side and out from under the hardtop is a very simple seating area that butts up against the Sundeck's glass barrier. This area is most captivating at sunset. Opposite is another lounging space. This one is a cocktail area. Facing the middle of the Sundeck, we can now see the elevator as it starts to make its way up here. With access from the main deck by the Galley and the lower guest companionway, this novel addition makes the yachting experience even more exciting. Now turning our attention to the hardtop, we see a pair of independently controlled searchlights, a Furuno radar, and a pair of satellite domes. Our next stop is one level down, the bridge deck aft. This is your primary outdoor dining space. A lot of those formal meals that you're used to seeing on shows like Below Deck take place here. Reason being, this is a huge table that gives you more than enough space to sit for hours and swap stories. The sophisticated feel up here is complemented by a gorgeous panoramic view. And then there are a few other things that make this area great, like this TV found forward on the port side. And there's even a wet bar that services this area. In addition to a stainless sink and serving space, below the bar is an ice maker as well as cold storage. Forward of this is an elegant set of stairs that leads up to the Sundeck. From here, we're going to continue forward into the Skylounge through these floor-to-ceiling doors. If you needed a single image to illustrate how Serenity's interior is a notch above, it would be pulled from here. At night, this space dives into an even deeper, more calming vibe. When the windows are blacked out, you can see how each space stands out, each with its own kind of magic. First, on the port side, we arrive at the Skylounge bar. With bar top seating for 4, this is where you put in your order and complement the service. Behind the bar is plenty of storage for stemware and bottles. There's also a fridge, an ice maker, and even a Miele dishwasher that makes everyone's lives easier. Looking to the starboard side across from the bar is a wide open space and an entire wall of storage, something that comes in very handy on those week-long charters. Moving forward diagonally brings us to an intimate tabletop perfect for a game of cards. In between hands, you can open up these huge doors and step out onto the balcony for some fresh air or a cigar. And then you can leave these balcony doors open if you want to bathe the rest of the room in light. Forward of this is an airy dayhead, something you never knew that you needed. Across from the dayhead is the best lounging space on board. I love everything about this. The large sofa purposefully cordons this area off from everything else going on. Here you can be intentional about how you make memories. You can sit here in conversation, or you can throw on a movie. On cold nights, you can even make use of this digital fireplace that radiates heat. Myself, I think this would be the perfect place to start your morning with a cup of coffee overlooking the city. This bulbous viewing window is an amazing lookout point, no matter the port. Up here in the Skylounge, there are a few things that I think are absolutely awesome, and all of them are detail-oriented. They're things that you will see not only here, but that you will see down in the salon and throughout the rest of the interior. First thing that I love is the wallpaper. If you look closely, you can see that this is actually not paper at all. You can see that it is cross-grained with these inlays in it. So the inlay grain runs vertically, and the background grain, so to speak, runs horizontally. Leaving the Skylounge and heading forward into this companionway, you can see the contrast of the wallpaper, as well as this awesome flooring underneath you that is lit up by LEDs. And then on the starboard side here, we come to a stateroom. This is the upper VIP, which most notably has huge windows that open this stateroom up to her surroundings. On the aft bulkhead is a queen berth with a pair of nightstands on either side, and then right next to the berth is storage. And then on the forward bulkhead is a long desk below a TV. This is right next to the entrance to her large stone-finished ensuite head. Leaving here and passing the elevator, we step into the captain's cabin on the port side. When you first leave here and step into the pilot house, your first stop is the captain's desk, where you make your most important plans. And then this opens up into a compelling mission control center. Finished nearly head to toe in black, this wheelhouse means business. Everything here ties into the yacht's great mechanical systems, ensuring that you get where you need to go. Here at the helm, we first set eyes on 5 multifunction displays that can be dialed in to show pretty much whatever you want in terms of navigation, radar, and ship systems. Below the monitors is the first of 2 Cat engine monitors, as well as a pair of searchlight controls. Next is a Simrad IS-80 gyro compass that I was surprised to find costs over $16,000. Below this is a Simrad AP-70 autopilot. And then finally we see her engine controls, bow and stern thruster joysticks, and her ABT track stabilization display. Facing the helm are a set of high-end Crown Limited helm seats. Aft of the helm chairs is a U-shaped seating area finished in red leather. This is where the crew debriefs every morning on charter. Looking outboard, flanking both sides of the wheelhouse are watertight access doors. For convenience, once you step outside, the wing stations swing open and you can safely get her back on the dock. Like the other helms, everything you need to get the job done is found right here. Another feature of the bow that's more for crew and less for guests are 4 large bosun lockers up here. Found aft and centerline is a large U-shaped lounging area. And then forward of this is a sizable sun pad that can be configured in a number of ways, with both seating and laying options. Next, we step down to where we find the yacht's tenders and ground tackle that are deployed and retrieved with the use of this davit. Surrounded by tenders is the windlass setup that features a pair of Maxwell 6000s that raise and lower her anchors. So we're leaving the bow now and we are on the starboard side. These steps behind me take you up to the bow or lead you down to the main deck. We are now on the side deck. The thing that I love about the side deck is the width. It's just wide enough that the crew can take those big fenders, make their way forward and aft. It makes docking really easy. The window work on this yacht is a huge part of her character, part of what catches your eye. The simplicity of this side deck is complimentary, but it's not entirely tame. If you look closely, you can see a faint blue accent light running below the stainless. This blue lighting continues around the stern in the form of underwater lights. These are a bold choice for an otherwise grayscale exterior, and I love how well these work. Running along the outside of the swim platform are stainless stanchions that can be removed when this turns into a dive platform. You can also tie your tender off here. To both port and starboard are shore power connections right next to the stairs of her Euro transom. The coolest part of the stern is the ZLift built into the swim platform. The ship's engineer uses a remote control to arrange the hydraulic platform in a number of useful configurations, wherein the middle section becomes steps the lower the platform gets in the water. A really cool detail back here is the name board. When you open the door itself, you can see the letters of the name board that are backlit. They actually spill over the door to make up a really cool feature. Built into the transom is a garage that doubles as a beach club when on charter. This garage comes in very handy when trying to store a tender, sea bobs, and other water sports toys. On the starboard side of the garage is an ice maker as well as a refrigerator. Moving all of the way inside, there's a huge water slide, life vest storage, as well as storage for dive tanks. There's even a compressor for filling those tanks. To either side of the garage are mechanical spaces. This is what we find on the starboard side. And this is what we find on the port side. A pair of sea recovery water makers, fire suppression system, and an Atlas shore power converter. And then we come to the engine room as we continue forward. Serenity is powered by a pair of Cat C32s, each of these generating 1,800 horsepower. Just outside of the engines are 2 Northern Lights 99 kW generators. There are 2 other great features found down here as well, one of them being an Alfa Laval fuel polishing system. This helps ensure that only pure diesel is running through your high-performance engines. The second is aft on the starboard side, and it's a workspace for the engineer. When it comes to performance numbers, she has a cruise speed of 15 knots, and when she's all in, she has a top speed of 17 knots. When Serenity is underway, she looks incredible, whether in the early sunlight of the morning or in the more harsh afternoon sun. Now exiting the mechanical spaces, let's pick up on the main deck aft. I like a lot about the general flow of this space. For example, how the bar and dinette are a step up from the rest of the aft deck. This part of the main deck has a lot of dimension, and look at how this space comes to life in the early morning light. As far as everything we find back here, her deck gear is found on both sides, right next to a pair of boarding doors. Looking to the middle, we see a huge alfresco dinette that can comfortably seat 10 around a durable hardwood table. Next, we come to the bar. Wrapping around the front are 5 bar stools, and whoever is tending the bar has at their disposal a sink, a fridge, and an ice maker. Looking to the port side are stairs that lead up to the bridge deck aft, but from here, we're going to move forward and look at the salon. Having filmed hundreds of boats, it can sometimes feel like a salon is a salon is a salon. But this salon, I say with excitement, is different in several great ways. First of all, it has that same separate lounging area, just like we saw up in the Skylounge. This area has a huge view of the outdoors, unobstructed by the side deck gunnels. And second, notice that there's no visible TV here in the salon. The same goes for the staterooms, by the way. Most of the time, when you aren't using it, a TV is a little bit of an eyesore. Here, the TV can't be seen until it drops down from the ceiling. Another byproduct of putting the TV in the ceiling is that it can be a lot bigger than one that you can only install in a cabinet or on a wall. This design gives you the best of both worlds. And then looking over to starboard is a staircase that gives you access between here and the Skylounge. Just forward of this are a pair of armchairs in front of stretching windows. Forward in the salon is the formal dining, elegantly styled with stout seating and a large glass tabletop. Next, we're going to continue forward on the port side and check out the galley. Our first stop is where the dishes get done. In here, you have a large sink and a pair of Miele dishwashers below a large window. Facing inboard, we can see the elevator that opens up on both sides, allowing you to pass through to the main deck foyer. There are a few other appliances in this immediate area, including a coffee maker that's just aft of an ice maker and a large fridge freezer. Moving further forward still, we arrive at a very chef-forward galley. In addition to a ton of storage all around, Serenity's chef has every tool they need to make great meals for your guests. The bulk of the appliances found in here starts with this large glass cooktop that sits next to a countertop grill. These rest below an industrial hood. For added ease of service, there's a discreet door that offers the crew access into the master for private service. There's a small dinette in the forward starboard corner, right next to a TV. When guests aren't on board, this is where the crew can gather and put together their punch lists. Next, let's take a quick look at where the crew resides. At the foot of the stairs, we first come to the laundry center. This is where the ship's 3 washers and dryers are put to good use, and there's even a private entry into the guest accommodations that we're going to cover a little bit later. Facing the other way, we can see a walk-in double fridge freezer, offering the option for both freezing and cooling. Just forward is the crew mess and lounge area. Finally, there are 3 cabins with bunks down here, accommodating 6 crew members. Include the captain's cabin, and you can sleep 8 crew. Our next stop is the main deck foyer just forward of the salon. You first see the reoccurring design features, like this underlit flooring. But what makes a statement in this foyer are the hush details that you don't make note of at first, like these decorative inlays found everywhere, tying the surrounding spaces together. To starboard is a side deck access door, which is directly opposite the midship elevator. Is there any more bold statement you can make than an elevator on a yacht? On the port side are stairs that lead below decks. We'll come back to this. Now, before we step into the master, we arrive at the owner's study. This area can be closed off, and it gives you a quiet place to check a few things off of the list. And then we step into the owner's suite proper. The on-deck master has a lot to brag about, starting with beautiful symmetry. That's what this whole boat has been about so far. All the right lines tying it all together. Centerline is a king berth that rests opposite a forward bulkhead, which is home to the entertainment system. Looking now to the starboard side, let's take a look at one of the two master balconies. If the elevator is the statement piece of the interior, these balconies are the statement pieces of the exterior. These fantastic protrusions add a whole new life to this yacht. The way that these doors work here in the master is forward of the optional bonsai tree. You have this panel and it gives you a few different options. So we are going to pass half full and hit full open so you can lock and seal those doors. But once you press that, the doors slide open, offering you an incredible view. Our other balcony is on the port side, right next to an interior lounging space. Forward in the master is the ensuite. We are now entering the hers side of this almost entirely jade private spa. It has a vanity with a pair of mirrors and a window allowing for natural light. And then in the corner, there's a dressing table where you can take your time. Inboard are shower and head stalls. And then next we emerge on the his side of the ensuite. Behind the forward doors are separate closets, one on each side of the ensuite. As we leave the master, we are going to head down this flight of stairs here and check out the lower guest staterooms. When you first step onto the landing, you have a mirror that you see first, as well as the elevator that services every single deck of the yacht. First, we're gonna step into the starboard aft stateroom, which has a king berth. The berth rests below 3 large hull-side windows, so light is never an issue in here. Like you've come to expect, these lower guest staterooms have plenty of storage, just in case a guest brings too many suitcases. A really nice touch throughout the staterooms is how all the storage opens and closes. You notice that there are no drawer pulls or handles, just soft touch and open. Same goes for under the bed. You just push it and lock it into place, but perhaps the coolest are these handles that you can't see. You push those in and you have access to your storage. Also note that you don't see a TV. That's because the TV is in the overhead, just like we saw in the Salon. All of the guest staterooms on board tie into the same ship's entertainment system that is run through this launch port. So for example, if you want to watch TV, you just turn on the satellite TV, it gets that going. If you want to listen to music, Apple TV, whatever it is, you can control it from right there. And now walking around the other side of the bed, where there was no TV, the TV magically drops down from the roof. As you can probably tell, this space opens up into the room right next to it. That's because the partition wall between them is actually a large pocket wall that slides away. This portside stateroom also looks different than the last one, despite being a nearly mirrored layout. That's because all of the furniture in this stateroom can be rearranged a few different ways. Aft in these staterooms are separate en-suites. Next, we're going to move directly forward on the port side to the next guest stateroom. This one features a queen berth, facing towards the windows this time. Below the window, next to a hanging locker, is a long, comfortable bench. After this is where you find the desk, one of which you will find in every guest stateroom for the moment that inspiration strikes. Beyond that is the ensuite, probably my favorite on board, despite its simplicity. And then in the opposite side of the hull is her 6th and final stateroom. It shares most of the same characteristics as the last stateroom. It's got a seat, but smaller. It also has a desk with a great view. It even has the same ensuite. The difference is this discreet door where the crew can pass directly from their area into the staterooms for service. So there you have it, Motor Yacht Serenity. I had an awesome time showing you around a very cool boat. If you have any other questions that I haven't answered about the boat, you can reach out directly to Gerd Bosshart. If you want to get on board, reach out to Gerd Bosshart. He would love to set that up for you. And as always, we do our best to respond to as many comments as we can. Let us know what you thought of today's walkthrough, and be sure to check out the hundreds of other videos that we have just like this one. Thanks.